Hi everyone. I'm Subhashni and I'm here to record the second part of the question and answer series in the AI for Business program. Today we're going to look at some questions around supervised learning and different types of machine learning. So the first question I'm addressing here is, are there different types of machine learning? And the answer, of course, to this is yes. There are different types of machine learning. Let's look at some of these types that we commonly will be using. The family of approaches to machine learning vary, but predominantly you can put it into three major categories or paradigms. This is called supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforced learning. I'm sure you've already heard of it. The key factor that sort of differentiates the different types of approaches is the feedback loop that you have. When humans learn, you know that we ask, did I get the correct answer? How do we do it? When we give a test and we know that we have done the correct answer, we get marks, right? That is the feedback. And then the thing is that as in our school system, the learning is step by step. There's class one, class two, class three. So as you go ahead, you come to know, am I learning equally well continuously across different classes? If your marks sort of remain similar, right? So supervised learning is where we already know the right answers. So some amount of data exists, a lot of transactions have happened, and we understand that some of those transactions were what we label good and some of the transactions were what we label bad. For example, we can say good is equal to those people who repaid us in the first month itself, and bad are those people who didn't repay us even after 6 months. Right? In a banking scenario where we have given loans. Similarly, we could have something in employees which we define good, which could be that did this employee stay with the company for long? And where do we, how do we define long? The long could be defined as at least 2 years. Okay, so we would already be able to divide all the people in the company into those who have stayed with us for 2 years or more, and some people who have left us before they completed 2 years with us. Of course, there'll be some set of people who have not been with us for up to 2 years, who were recruited in the last 1 month, 2 month, etc. Those would be outliers for this project. Okay. So in supervised learning, we already know the correct answers. The past data is labeled and the model learns by example. So how do we do it? We can like it to studying with solved question papers. We always had those OSWAL question papers, etc. in class 10, 12, etc. Right? So we study with the solved question papers and we practice mock exams, but we also have the answer key to it. Okay. So we can always go back and check how well did I do? How well did I not do? Unsupervised learning, if we were to look at it, is where there are no correct answers which are given. So the whole data is given and nothing much more is given. In this, we look at the raw data and we try to group it into similar and dissimilar patterns. So the model explores the data and then says that this is set A of things which look very similar to each other, and this is set B of things which don't look so similar to each other. Okay, so that is basically something that the system does and tells us. Then we have to understand that how do we want to interpret these groups that the system has made. When we look at reinforcement learning, as the word itself says, reinforcement, that means giving some feedback on a continuous basis. Like in our schools, we are given class tests, right? And that's feedback on a continuous basis. Are we learning every chapter equally well? If we do well in our class test, what is the chance that we will do very well in the final exam? Extremely high, right? It is extremely high. We already know everything that's going to come in the final exam. So, in reinforcement learning, the learning happens through a feedback or reward system where decisions happen continuously over periods of time, like this class test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the final outcome is the major test. And we know that the student who has done well in all class tests will do very well in the final test. So it is much like learning to drive or learning a sport or learning a game, because what happens, you get continuous feedback, you improve over periods of time by this continuous feedback. Now, you might want to check why this classification matters for business. Like, why, as business people, you need to understand this. Because AI fails whenever a wrong paradigm is chosen, and therefore the expectations don't match the data reality. Managers assume AI will figure it out, and AI is not able to figure it out exactly very well. So, algorithms do not choose themselves, do understand that you will be the final prompt. For the choice that the algorithm will make, and business context decisions, have to be evaluated in the business context, and you should figure out which is the learning type that you are going to use for that particular project. So if we have to understand that, how does someone answer the question, which algorithm should I use? You must ask, do you have labeled data? Is the goal prediction or insight? Is it just you want to predict something, or do you want to just gain insight about the data, that these are the segments, clusters, and the like? And is this a one time decision, or it's a continuous outcome? Like, do you want to keep checking that this is what is the next step, what how has this customer or employee fared in the next step, and then take a call on the next level of promotion or next level of engagement by say rewards or coupons, etc., that you want to share with the customer. Okay, so whenever there's labeled data, the chance is that you can use supervised algorithms. Whenever there's not labeled data, there is no feedback, you want to use unsupervised algorithm. And when there is decision process steps in it, and each point there are rewards, that is gains, or there are losses, like in a game, right, that we play, then we have to use something called the reinforcement learning processes. The next question which should be coming to your mind, therefore, is that can we do a bit of a deep dive and understand more about the supervised learning process? What is supervised learning? When we look at supervised learning, it is the most commonly used form of machine learning in business, because you know that business uses structured data for 80 to 90% of all decisions made. I know that there is a lot of, when we are using our phones, etc., we end up feeling that a lot of whatever is being done is part of videos and images, but that is not the truth in the workplace. You have ERP systems which have structured data, and as you go about in businesses, you mostly have a lot of structured and time series data, which is nowadays data which is fed in through different robots, or they could be sensors which would be feeding in data to your system. Okay, so learning happens under guidance in supervised learning systems, where the correct answers are already known and the mistakes can be corrected, because if the model doesn't seem to be able to predict the correct answer, you would be able to change or update the model. Okay, so this is something which is how we are looking at the school education system also, that we would have textbooks, and there are notes, and then there's an exam, and then we have a parent teacher meeting where the teacher will look at your grades and suggest to you these are the good ways that you can improve. Okay. Supervised learning works in machines in a simple way. You know that the y variable is the variable which is the problem statement or defined output variable, right? Like churn, yes or no. A customer being fraud, yes or no. Customer responding to a, some marketing communication sent, yes or no. Okay. And there are many input variables like age, income, usage, transactions. These are all X variables. The model will study thousands or millions of the examples that you have in your data, and then learn the relationship between X and Y. Like, are they correlated? Are they not? Using this learning to predict the Y for every new X. So when a new customer comes onboarded, it will say, oh, are these the parameters about the customer? This customer is likely to stay. Okay, or this customer is likely not to buy from me. Okay. Like example of other things could be email spam detection. So what happens is your past emails are labeled as spam or not spam, and the model learns the pattern, certain words, the sender behavior, the frequency, and then when a new email arrives, it automatically predicts spam or not. And I think you would understand that the models are continuously learning, because if you go to the spam folder and then unspam a particular email, from next time the model learns that this is not a spam email ID. Okay, and therefore will not send it into spam. Why businesses love supervised learning is that there is a clear goal and there are clear accuracy measurements, right? You can actually look back and gauge that is the system performing correctly, differentiating into categories. It is easy to link to KPIs of the employees, and it is also easy to explain the outcomes, especially in simpler models. You would have an exact equation which tells us exactly how to calculate the Y. And supervised learning dominates finance, marketing, HR, and operations. But there is a small warning that I'd like to give you here. That is that supervised learning learns from past decisions, and some of the past decisions may be biased. Like very recently, they found that the system which selects employees from resumes which are submitted to Amazon is biased against women, because the old data of Amazon, comes from a time when women did not really be in the workplace. So you see, the system did not really have too many women data to choose from, to learn from. Supervised models are powerful but dangerous if you trust it blindly. And supervised learning does not discover the truth, it just learns historical behavior. Okay, so this is the word of caution. This is something that you must remember. If you don't want certain patterns to come in, you might want to remove it from the data on which the model is learning. So the model is learning on some data, and you might want to remove that chunk of data which you feel is biased, okay, which you want to actually ensure that people can don't use. The model does not use it for further decision making. Now, the next question which will come to your mind, I'm sure, is that what are the types of supervised learning models? So here you go. You can see that this is a flow for supervised learning models. There is a testing set and a training set. So you train the model on a certain amount of data, then you test it on the whole set of data, and this will tell you what is the accuracy of the model, okay, on both the sets of data. Now, the second question or the next question that you might have is, what are the types of supervised learning models, right? What are the main types of supervised learning models? So, if we have to look at what are the types of supervised learning models, the two big categories are classification models and regression models. These are the two biggest categories of supervised models. And in classification, the output is a category and the answer belongs to a class, like spam or not spam, fraud or not fraud, yes or no, pass or fail, right? So classification really means putting something into a bucket. Business examples of classification is that will this customer churn? Is this transaction fraudulent? Should we approve this loan? Will this employee resign? These are the types of classification models that we have. Then you have another set of models which are called regression models. In regression, the output is a number. How many, how much? Okay. So the answer is actually continuous. Sales of 12.5 lakhs, demand of 3,200 units, salary of 8.7 lakhs, time of 45 days. These are places where the system is able to estimate a value and tell you with plus minus 10% accuracy or plus minus 5% accuracy that this is the value which will come for that particular situation. Now, some things you might want to remember is that if you can count the outcome, then it's a regression model most likely. And if you can name it, classify it, then it's a classification model. I hope this is clear. Now, what is why are we talking about this in so much detail? Because choosing the wrong type can lead to some wrong metrics or wrong interpretations or wrong business decisions. So always ask this, is my output a category or a number? If it is number, then it is a regression model. If it is category, then it is most likely a classification model. Okay. Now you could then ask, where is supervised learning used in business? And let's see some examples in business where supervised learning is used. It is used almost everywhere because business naturally labels the data, right? Most of the business data is structured data. We talked about the fact that most of the business data is structured data. Marketing, we will use it for customer churn prediction, campaign response, and customer lifetime value prediction, like which customers are likely to leave in next 3 months, etc. And in finance, we use it for credit scoring, fraud detection, default probability estimation. Banks use supervised learning for deciding who gets loans, in what interest rate should we give that loan on, or detect suspicious behavior. Human resources use it for attrition prediction, performance forecasting, and hiring shortlisting because they want to understand things like which employees are at a risk of leaving. Operations and supply chain, demand forecasting, inventory optimization, and quality defect prediction. All of these would be supervised models. So you could then ask why supervised learning works so well in business. And we've already known this, that the businesses have structured historical records, right? So data is stored in structured format. There are past decisions that the business has made, and though some decisions are good and some were bad, and therefore an outcome is labeled, okay, for most of the data that's there. So the strengths become high accuracy, clear evaluation, strong ROI, and easier stakeholder buy-in. Limitations are, of course, that the models learn from past behavior. If business strategy changes, model breaks, bias gets embedded silently, and it requires constant monitoring. Supervised learning is powerful, but it is not autonomous because it requires human oversight. So do remember this thing, that you cannot just expect that the system will be responsible for everything. You have to understand that the responsibility of at least auditing the model and ensuring that the model works fine will lie with you. With this, I will close out this second part of the question and answers. And I do hope you will like and subscribe to the channel so that you can be part of the subsequent videos. Thank you.